Welcome back to Switch to Linux. It is Friday, and today we're going to be looking at the corporatocracy news with our final discussion on Tesla. But before we get into there, AT&T is already planning more acquisitions day after getting this. And one of the things that they're trying to do is a new video service. See, this is the thing people were concerned about with the whole net neutrality thing. Because as these ISPs also are having streaming services, then what can happen is they have now, since they were able to abolish the net neutrality rules, they can give you either free or at least access to their streaming services, but either charge you or charge Netflix or whoever else extra money or meter their rate. So how long would you stick to watching Netflix if every other second the thing is constantly buffering because they're teetering down theirs, but they say, well, you can use our service and it runs great. This is what everybody's worried about. And now all of the ISPs, now by the way, these things were already going on, which is what led to the net neutrality rules being put into place to begin with. Now, all of the ISPs are owning more things. We can see that streaming is the way to go for some weird reason. And what is going to happen now with the rules off the books, these guys are going to have carte blanche to totally screw with any of their users. And this is a big deal. So, of course, this isn't going to happen overnight. And the most hilarious stupidity is when Ajit Pai came out like the day after the vote. Oh, you can still do all these things. Yeah, you moron with a pie hole in your head. The rules aren't in effect yet the day after the vote. What, are we all so stupid that we don't know that? That's kind of crazy. But what we're going to start to see is it's going to start by adding what AT&T is already doing. If you're already an AT&T cellular customer, you can watch our video streaming service from your cell phone without any extra. Everyone else, it's I think it's $15 extra. Okay. And so what's going to happen is it's going to start with these slow add-ons and add-ons and add-ons, and then it's going to get to the point where the only ones will be able to work reasonably are the ones that they own and control. And this, people, my take-home message from this part, buy your DVDs, work out a system, own your media, don't stream your media. Because as much as I care about this, it's not going to force me into their streaming service because I don't want anybody's streaming service. Sorry. Of course, the ability to access things on YouTube would possibly be mixed up. This was funny, and there's a take. I'm trying to add good take-home messages to each of these. I'm trying to improve the news, make it more life applicable, not just say, "Look, the whole world's going to hell." But this one here, earlier this week, I think this was Monday, there was a huge Apple Maps outage, and people were driving through New York City and somehow did not find themselves stranded in the Australian outback. But the entire Apple Maps system went down for a couple of hours, leaving a whole ton of people relying on their GPS units to not know how to get there. Now, you can always go onto a web browser on a phone, boot up Google Maps, I guess, unless they both go down simultaneously. But the reality is here is we as people don't know how to read maps anymore. We don't know how to follow directions anymore. We have become slaves to our machines. And relying on the GPS and the mapping capabilities of your phone is particularly damaging. Like, a car GPS isn't as bad because that's not dependent on an internet signal and things like that. But utilizing your mapping features on your cell phone requires your cell phone maintains a consistent data connection, unless you're using an offline app like OSM and. Is it OSM and? I don't know, whichever one I'm using, because you can download the maps. So I could download the maps, turn on GPS location. Yeah, it's called OSM and, which is OpenStreetMaps. So OpenStreetMaps allows you to download the maps for your region. And then what you can do is utilize the GPS function, which is not dependent on that. even that I'm not a huge advocate on. It's way better to just learn how to read maps. So your take home from this is these data connections could go down. Don't leave yourself out. Dave Ramsey says, when the tide comes in, you can, when the tide goes back out, you can see who is skinny dipping. Of course, he usually uses that in analysis to see who is actually who's actually living on borrowed money when the economy goes down. So that's kind of my take home from that, is learn how to read maps, things like that. All right, so the last couple articles here are dealing with this Tesla issue. If you've not seen anything about this, there's this whole issue where there's an employee allegedly caught stealing records from Tesla, potentially either leaking the records out. And there's so much in this that we just don't have the information. And we either have to believe somebody who, on one hand, people are saying he's selling trade secrets to China or Russia or whatever else. But he says, I'm just being a whistleblower. I found serious security and safety issues with these cars. I approached my manager. He didn't do anything or care about it. And so he said he's a whistleblower. That's what he says. Musk says, on the other hand, that this guy he's a malicious hacker and he's doing all this and he's disgruntled because he didn't get a promotion, etc., etc. I don't know who to believe. I'm less inclined to believe a millionaire sociopath, in all honesty. But at the same token, what's interesting is to see what's going to go down here, because Tesla has filed a lawsuit against the guy. But the problem is that both of them are getting into this heated public discussion on Twitter with each other. Musk, have a brain. Stop it. Let him be and deal with him in the courts. But my prediction, what's going to happen with my prediction is, here we have the lawsuit listed here. My prediction is Tesla, or Musk probably, is going to simply drag this through the court system so long, they're just going to bankrupt this guy and make him do whatever they want. They're going to make him cry mercy because Musk's got some money. Unfortunately, it's all a whole ton of money that we gave to him as American people, which is kind of scary. So this is an interesting one to keep an eye on, because we don't know who's really telling the truth. If this guy's legitimately a whistleblower, he says that he only leaked data to media. He leaked pictures of punctured lithium-ion batteries and major security vulnerabilities in the software. And we know there's security issues in the software. And I think Tesla should come off the road, or in any other car that you can have a ready internet access get to it. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. With that being said. And so this is one of those cases where, it's going to be interesting to see where it comes. And I don't have necessarily a side. My prediction is we're going to see Tesla drive this guy through the mud because they got the money and he's just a low-level worker. And that's unfortunately how America works. He's just going to be dragged through the mud. And that's sad. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about all this. This is going to be one that I'm going to be watching. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.